Hey coaches, here's a look at our slot fade out of our 3-by-1 formation. We'll call this trips. We got the nub tight end opposite. Now our slot fade, one of our go-to man-to-man coverage beaters, is very difficult for youth football defensive backs to cover a fade route. All right, and another thing to keep in mind too is like this is against what, a 4-4 or no, I'm sorry, 3-4 defense. All right, so most teams will roll down a safety or they'll bump out an outside linebacker. Now, those backers that are bumping out over our inside receiver, they probably aren't practicing man coverage as much as the corners, nor are they probably as good at man coverage than these corners. So a lot of times, you're taking one of your better kids, putting them over a linebacker who may be an aggressive kid, good athlete, just a good player, but he might not have a lot of practice on how to cover, how to backpedal, how to break the route, how to maintain leverage, how to press, or how to play off, So you can really take advantage of this kid here. And you'll see on the game film how, like, these kids just had a problem tracking the ball. It wasn't necessarily that they were so beat on a route. It's just, how we run this route, it's really hard to cover. And you could just tell that they're not fluent back there in pass coverage. So that's another reason why this play works so well. But we'll get over to the route concept in a second. Start with the O-line. Tight end's going to hinge the backside. Our guards and tackles in the center, they're going to block inside over blocking rules. Okay, if there's no one inside, no one over them, no one's blitzing, all right, you could have them help out on someone else. So now we'll start with our H. Our H is going right up the seam. We want him to run at that safety. All right, so kind of keep him in the middle of the field. We don't want him to help out over the top. And why we like H running a seam, not only does it hold the safety, it's if they move the safety over top and they bracket this kid, we got middle of the field open with an inside backer covering our H. Just like the outside backer covering our number 2, our slot receiver, the kid that's going to cover our third receiver here probably isn't very good at man coverage either. So that's why we like that seam route. It'll hold that safety, or if that safety cheats over or plays over the top of our slot, kind of they bracket this kid, we could hit down the seam. So I really like the seam route on this. Now, if the defender covering the H is playing really far off, okay, we'll tell this kid to sit on the route. He'll kind of just stop. It'll be turned into like a hitch, like a stick route. All right, so something to keep in mind there. Our split end, we are going to fake a tunnel screen, okay? We're going to just 2 steps up, boom, we're going to come back. We're going to fake the screen. That's going to pull this corner up, all right? After we first started doing it, taking 2 steps, then boom, come back on the screen. What we did going, the last couple seasons is we would have him just fake the screen right away. We want this kid to trigger up immediately, and then we kind of throw the slot fade behind him. And if he's playing off or they're playing cover 3 or he's sitting on the fade, then you could just throw the tunnel. And these guys would just block. And so you could throw that quick tunnel route here. But now our slot, he's going to take a few steps, vertical stem. He's going to fade to the sidelines, all right? We want him to fade away from the defender. What that will do is that will force the defender to turn his back to the quarterback and run with this receiver. Now, when his back is to the quarterback, he's going to have a lot of problems tracking the ball. He's going to not be able to track it. He's going to slow himself down looking back too early for the ball. Or he's just going to, maybe he'll be in good position, but he can't track the ball, and we're going to get a pass interference penalty. So those fades, okay, this isn't so much, we don't want to emphasize so much on getting vertical. Okay, we do, but we want to emphasize really fading this out. Make this defensive back chase us here with his back to the ball. So, it's called a fade because you want to fade away from the defender. All right, so quarterback's going to catch it. We're going to throw the fade. All right, you could have him read the safety. You could give him a call to tell him to look to the H first. You could tell him to look to the H first if they're playing zero coverage. It's whatever you want to do, but we're throwing the slot fade, okay? There are other options. Like I said, you got the H there, but we're throwing the slot fade. Quarterback's going to catch it. He's going to plant. We're going to throw it high and outside to his outside shoulder. Again, we need a good throw. We want to fade. We want to drop this ball just as he's fading away. All right, so you want this ball high and outside and let this kid make a play on it. Guys, great Great concept against man-to-man coverage. Let's check out some game film.